UFC 232 happening this Saturday night, still happening this Saturday night. You can probably shed some more insight on this. I don't know exactly how they changed fucking states and venues and all this on such short notice. Logistically, how that's possible, I don't even know. But if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Jon Jones, a USADA test came back, and I want to use the right terminology, but it said atypical, meaning that something was found, and it turns out that it was turbinol. A small trace of turbinol was found in his system, and take over.
Okay,
I don't want to explain it wrong.
No, you're explaining it wrong. It's not Turnabol, it's Turinabol, and 3.
I didn't even say Turnabol. I said turbinol.
Yeah, you said. I was like, wow, did he have that in his system as well? What the fuck is that? Turinabol. I think I'm not that I'm an expert. So apparently. Remember, he tested positive after he knocked out DC. That was for Turinabol. I forget the circumstances of him testing positive in 2017, last year. But there was something weird about it. One time he didn't test positive. It was all clear. And then they tested him again and it was there. Then they tested him again and it was clear again. So it was weird. And John always claimed he was innocent, blah, 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 blah. We all know the fucking rest. He got suspended. Now he's back. They checked him a few weeks ago. They tested him and it's come up with, I think it's a picogram is what they call it, which is, this is where Dana explained it yesterday. If you take a grain of salt or a grain of sand and you split it into 50 million pieces, one of those 50 millionth of a grain of sand is equivalent to a picogram. And that's what they found in his system.
How many picograms?
It's not performed. 1 picogram. 1
picogram. Okay. That's not that much.
150 millionth.
Well, when you put it that way, Dana, I mean, I guess it's not that much.
150 millionth of a grain of sand in his body. But they're saying, because they tested him and it wasn't there, and they're saying the story that they're saying is that the Athletic Commission in Nevada, they wouldn't allow him because apparently they want to look into it more to find out whether or not it is performance enhancing or not. Of course, the fight is in just a few days and they want that to go ahead. So they reached out to the California Athletic Commission where Jon Jones is licensed, and they're convinced, they're satisfied from their scientists and from the information that they're being given that what is in his system is basically a residual left over from last time. So they're saying he's already served the punishment for that Turinabol being in his system.
From a year and a half ago.
That's what they're saying. For a year and a half ago. And apparently, because I read an article on ESPN this morning where there was a football player, same type of thing. He had it and it stayed in his system for years. And they kept checking him and checking him and checking him. And then eventually it was all gone. But it took something like 2 years to be cleared out. Yeah, exactly. So you know, that's the UFC side, that's the California Commission side, and of course that's Jon Jones' side. DC's side of it is that Jon Jones fucking tested positive again, and it's crazy, and the whole world is going nuts. Now I was looking at Twitter last night, and people, the public in general, are not buying this scenario. You know, now. Are you buying it, Lewis? Are you buying it? Do you think Jon Jones tested positive or not?
I think that Jon Jones, I think that no matter what way you want to slice it, I don't trust whatever's going on with him there. We've talked about it before, where there's smoke, there's fire. I just don't trust it. There's something about it. There's been all too many excuses, too many times where he's come back where it was a dick pill, it was this, that, the other. I don't trust Jon Jones. We've talked about it before. I don't trust the fact that he pretends to be a goody two-shoes Christian. Anything that comes out of his mouth, I don't buy it. So, you know, it wouldn't be typical of the way that I look at Jon Jones for me now to be like, oh, well, you know what? This time I believe it all. No, it just seems a little bit weird. I think that Jon Jones is a cheat. I really do. And I think go ahead.
Here's what I think, and several things. Before I get into it, I agree with what you're saying. You know, he goes around pretending to be a good man. I'm sure Jon is a good man. He is a good man, but he makes mistakes. But he tries to, you know, come off as a little too holier than thou. That's my only issue. In fact, and tell me what you think of this. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm just a cynical prick. Maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe I should just recognize the good that he was doing. But I watched the Embedded for the UFC 232 this weekend. Embedded 1 came out, and on Embedded, Jon Jones goes toy shopping for the children. Okay. Which is awesome. It's awesome that he's buying toys for the kids. But it's also very fucking convenient that you've got a UFC film crew filming you while you do it. Things like that would be better done when you don't have a film crew. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, that did just irk me a little bit. Oh, very convenient. You spent $500 on toys when there's a film crew on you. Okay. All right. Anyway, whatever. Maybe I'm a cynical prick. I probably am. Here's what I think. I should go buy some toys for underprivileged children myself. I honestly, after everything that happened, after everything that Jon Jones went through, after all the mud that was thrown at him, all the ammunition that was given to DC, even after Jon Jones knocked DC out, I refuse to believe that Jon Jones is that stupid, that arrogant, and that much of a cheat. I just don't think, if he is, then it's mind-blowing. And of course, the science, what I'm reading and what everyone's seeing online does tend to lend itself to what the UFC is saying and what the athletic commissions are saying. So if you take that at face value and for what it's worth, then he wasn't cheating. And also on top of that, I just don't think a human being, after testing positive so many times, and this being his comeback fight, is for him to test positive again is crazy. And now there is a good excuse, a very plausible excuse that explains it all. So realistically, I understand the human emotion side of it. I understand that people think that he is a cheat and a proven cheat and all the rest of it. But if you look at the facts, I think Jon should get a pass on this one. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, he's going to get a pass. I want to see the fight. I don't want to see the fight taken away. It's happening Saturday night in a different state.
He's not getting a pass. He's got a pass. He has. It's simple as that. The fight's taking place in a different state. But, it's not good. It's not good PR. And as I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I stand by that. But what I'm hearing is, and as again, I'm not an expert on testing for metabolites of turinabol. Believe it or not, Lewis, I know that shocks you, but I'm not an expert on how long turinabol metabolites stay in your system. But the doctors that are smarter than me, and I know you're surprised at that I'm saying there's people that are smarter than me, Lewis. There is. It's crazy. Merry Christmas. But they're saying that it is very, very possible, plausible, and in fact likely that this is left over from last time and he served his punishment for it. I guess it's still a shitty situation.
I guess Frank Mir, he came out and he posted a big long post on Instagram. I believe it was Instagram. And he had gotten suspended years ago for the exact same thing. So this is what he wrote. He said, in the spring of 2016, when USADA representatives sat at my Las Vegas kitchen and told me that the turinabol metabolite that they tested, turinabol metabolite that they said I tested positive for could have only been ingested within a window of the past several months, I vehemently proclaimed my innocence. Having never failed any drug test throughout my career, I asked if we could go back further in the past to test any supplements that I could have taken, but they claimed that was both impossible and unnecessary. They were firm on their assertion that there was only a recent period of several months that would warrant any consideration. Now, a little more than 2 years later, Jon Jones has tested positive for the same trace of the same banned substance, and USADA is taking the position that the same low level is in fact not a new ingestion, but something that could be a result of residual pulsing, quote unquote, effect that could potentially stay in the system, quote unquote, forever. Further, they are now claiming this phenomenon is something that they are seeing in other cases as well.
Yeah. Who cares? Frank Mir always has too much to say about all the wrong things because I'm sorry, I love Frank Mir. He's a great guy. But, this is the problem. I said this to my wife when this news was breaking yesterday. I was on that long drive back from Mammoth. I had Callum reading everything out and giving me all the updates. The problem that this does cause is that it gives everybody that has tested positive in the past, it gives them a reason to now get on their soapbox and start complaining and saying, well, this was one that I took a long time ago and I'm not getting the same treatment. Bearing in mind, remember that Frank Mir also said that he tested positive because he ingested kangaroo meat and the steroids were in the kangaroo meat because farmers inject the cattle and livestock with steroids to make them bigger. The only problem with that, Frank, is that kangaroos are not fucking bred in captivity or they're not farmed at all. They're just caught wild. So that whole theory is out the window. It's not plausible at all. Kangaroos are not farmed in the slightest and or injected with steroids.
It sounds like because he talks about the leader shifting their position and blah 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 blah. It sounds like he might even be trying to angle to possibly sue or something like that, because he says either scenario leaves myself and a number of other fighters whose careers have been similarly damaged by past testing claims to wonder what this says about USADA's consistency and their test reliability. So he's starting to talk about it like this, like he ruined his career. Maybe
who cares
to talk
who
about
cares
something, but
who cares? I honestly couldn't give a fuck, right? Yeah. Frank, the big news here is Jon Jones, DC, the fans, the thing. Frank Mir fights for Bellator now, and he's got his knickers in a twist because he had his fucking name dragged through the mud. You can't deny that Frank Mir's body fucking all of a sudden put on 500 pounds of muscle overnight. Okay,
and also he never denies in the post. He never even says, "Well, I didn't even take steroids." But just so you know, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, but whatever. I couldn't care less. I'm not here to debate Frank Mir's fucking innocence or whatever. Right. If he's got a problem, God bless him. Good for you. The real people that suffer in all of this are the fans that bought tickets in Las Vegas. You know, all the people that have flown out there. And of course, some of the fighters as well. Not some of the fighters, all of the fighters, because it is a frustrating and disappointing situation.
No
the main
refunds?
Thing is, hold on. Well, they're saying there may be refunds. There may be refunds, it said. But the main thing is, I mean, for the fighters, when you fight in Nevada, there's no state tax. When you fight in California, there's 10% state tax. So a lot of the fighters are pissed off right now because they're going to lose, obviously, 10% of their income, which sucks. It's 10% is a lot of money. So they're all pissed off about that. That's always a good thing about fighting in Nevada. No state taxes at all. People have flown in. Family have flown in. Not everybody has the money to just up sticks and fly to California and book a new hotel there. I understand it from the UFC's point of view because this is the fight that is selling the pay-per-view. They're in the business of putting on the big fights. This is the fight that everyone wants to see. No disrespect to Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. That is an incredible fight. It's probably the best female MMA fight that's ever taken place inside the UFC. But the big draw is Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. And as a promoter, you got to continue to put that fight on. Certainly, if what everybody's saying, what the scientists and the California Commission are saying is to be believed, which I have no reason to say it's not to believe, then you can understand to a certain degree why the UFC are doing this. But if I was a paying fan, of course, man, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently this is what Damon Martin said on Twitter. Dana White says tickets for UFC 232 will go on sale Wednesday, and folks who bought tickets in Vegas can get a full refund, or they will try to accommodate new seats for people willing to travel. But I guess there's people that they put money down for flights, hotel rooms, plane tickets, all that other stuff. So that's sort of where they're going to get really fucked on. There's nothing. And by the way, you're saying that. I remember the first UFC I ever went to, UFC 71. I was had to be 23, 22 at the time. I was much younger, 21. Chuck Liddell versus Rampage Jackson. And I was so fucking poor. I mean, this was every dime that the tickets alone were like $400 or $500. Just buying the tickets to the event was crazy. Plus going to Vegas, I had like $200 in cash in my pocket for the entire trip. That's what I had on me. There was no changing thing. There was no going and booking a new hotel and waiting for a refund and waiting to get the money back. Even the idea of getting a refund from the hotel to change it to another thing, that would have destroyed my entire trip. So it's not even like, it's not even just the fans were getting screwed. You're talking about the fans, the poorest fans, the people who need the money most are the ones who are really getting fucked, because guys like you or I, it would suck to, have to, spend a few $100s to go, but we could afford it. There's plenty of people out there that can afford to do it. It's the poorest of the poor that are going to literally just have to cancel their fucking Christmas plans.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why I say they're the ones that are really going to lose out. But the UFC, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. They really are. They either don't put on Jon Jones versus Gustafsson, which is a massive, highly anticipated title fight. That's going to do well, I would assume, at the pay-per-view box office. Or they just say, well, fuck it, scrap the fight, and they go ahead and they have Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg, right? And then they probably go from doing maybe 600,000 pay-per-view buys to 150,000 pay-per-view buys, and they lose a lot of money. But as you say, by doing that and switching it to LA from Vegas, they're pissing off a lot of people. So it's a really, really difficult decision. And, you know, I was saying yesterday, isn't it crazy? I mean, we're doing this podcast. There's never any shortage of things to talk about in the crazy world of mixed martial arts and UFC. There's always something happening. I mean, Dana White always says that every week there's always some new challenge. And this is crazy. I mean, how lucky for one that the Forum in LA is available. I mean, can you imagine that phone call when somebody has to call Dana and say, you're not going to believe this. Jones has fucking tested positive again. They're like, what the fuck? And then you hear all the scientific stuff. They're like, okay, maybe he's innocent, but Nevada, they will let him go ahead. But California, he's licensed. Okay, shit, running around. What arenas have we got? All right, we got the Forum. Okay, well, we'll take the Forum, same place. Sorry, same date, same opponent, same fight. Just switch everything down the street. And realistically, it's not that hard. You know, you either charter a plane or you just book everyone on commercial flights. It's only a 45-minute flight to LA. You book some rooms at the Marriott in Manhattan Beach like they did last time, and boom, you've got your fight. But what you haven't got is the 20,000 people that flew to Las Vegas for the fight. You know, and you're right, and it will be the ones that are the most hard up. Now, you've also got a lot of people going to Las Vegas for the Vegas experience. It's New Year's Eve. You know, there's the clubs, there's the restaurants, there's the whole Vegas vibe. And the icing on the cake would have been the fight. You know what I'm saying? That would have been like the big attraction. But then outside of that, you're in Las Vegas. When the fight moves to LA, you know, the fight's in Inglewood. The Forum part of me is in Inglewood, California. It's not Las Vegas. It's not Beverly Hills. Inglewood is Inglewood. You know, you're always up to no good. Inglewood. All right. You don't want to go cruising around the streets of fucking Inglewood after you come out the arena looking for a good meal or somewhere to go drink. I hate to say it, but you might get shot. Okay. Right. So it changes the experience for everybody. It goes from having a weekend in Vegas, enjoying New Year's Eve, enjoying the fights, getting too drunk, eating some nice meals and whatever else you do, to going to a fight, and that's it only. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The whole thing stinks. There's no other way to put it. The reality is, look, fine. Let's say Jon cheated before. It's only an assistant because he cheated and tried to hurt people with his fucking hands and fucking feet. So fuck him anyway. It's still his fault. No matter what way you want to slice it, this is Jon Jones's fault. And the UFC and you know what, they're trying to save the event. They're trying to save it not only for themselves financially, but for the hundreds of thousands, if not a million people around the world that are going, definitely, around the world. That's just the United States are going to sell 700,000 pay-per-views, but millions of people around the world that are going to enjoy this fight, and it's an amazing fight to watch. So obviously they want to do whatever they can do to make this fucking happen, but it just kind of stinks. It solidifies me not being a fan of Jon Jones. I've never been a fan, but he can't turn me at this point. He's a bad guy. He's Skeletor.
Yeah, no, you're right. What you just said there, and I thought about it, I mean, you're right. If they're saying that this is just a knock-on effect, or it's just from when he took Turinabol the first time and it's in his system, well, you shouldn't have taken it the fucking first time. Yeah, okay, you were banned, but if you're banned, okay, now I just played it from the UFC's perspective. Now I'll play it from their perspective. If you weren't taking it in the first place, it wouldn't have been there. And guess what? If it's still in there, then maybe you shouldn't be fighting at all. And maybe the ban wasn't long enough. Maybe the ban should have been when you are clear and there's no Turinabol in your system, no performance-enhancing drugs in your system, then you can compete again.
Let's take a moment and talk about CBD MD, which is an amazing company. If you don't know what CBD does, just do a Google research. Just do a little bit of a search, see what it could do for you, because CBD is what is widely being regarded as sort of a miracle drug. Helps with everything from anxiety to physical pain to insomnia to cancer to, you name it. Literally go in, type some sort of affliction that you or a family member have. I will almost guarantee you CBD could help with it. And CBD MD, they have the highest quality CBD guaranteed. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. The highest quality, the best prices, all grown in the UFC. I was going to say all grown in the USA. Pardon me. And yeah, some of the best products, and the variety of the products that they have is unbelievable. I just got a new delivery this morning. I'm very, very happy. I love all the products. I love the Recover. I use that after I've worked out. They have the Freeze. You roll that on. They got bath bombs for a variety of feelings. How you want to feel? You want to feel relaxed. You want to feel recharged. You want to go to sleep. All these type of different bath bombs. They're absolutely fantastic. And also they got some other cool shit on there as well now. So if you go to their website, check it out. The highest quality, the best prices, as I say. So please do check it out. I mean, because there is a CBD takeover going on in this world, and CBD, MD, they're at the forefront. They're at the top. They are the best in the business. So if you want to get involved, of course, we have an offer for you. Go to cbdmd.com, pick up the variety of products, and if you use the promo code BYM20, you're going to get 20% off your initial order. So once again, please listen, cbdmd.com, use the promo code BYM20, 20% off, get involved, relieve yourself of those pains, those achy joints, whatever your problem may be, and thank me later.